I escaped the Minecraft void. But how did I get stuck in the void? So my friend Korean invited me to his Minecraft server. And when I joined, he immediately started to hit me with his sword. And he punched me into a hole leading all the way to the void. And he sent me a message challenging me to escape. But I was now stuck at the bottom of the world with nothing but the void underneath me. And seeing that this room was completely made out of bedrock, that means that Korean used creative mode. So escaping this would be extremely difficult. But right in front of me was the exit sign. And all I had to do was somehow get across this large gap, but it was too far away for me to just jump, and I had no blocks or materials. So I decided to take a look around. To my right was just a crafting table and a little ledge, but there was no way for me to reach it. And to my left was another ledge with a room, but I wasn't able to see what was inside, and there was nothing behind me or above me. And the last thing that there was a giant bedrock wall, but I had no way to move. I was stuck on this one fence post, and I was extremely confused because there was no way I could just jump because I would die and fall into the void. So I kept trying to look for a solution, and I decided to go in F5 mode to see if I missed anything. And when I did, I realized that I wasn't on just one fence post. I was actually on two. So I decided to break the one that I was on top of. And now with this oak fence, I could either place it to go on the side with the crafting table, or I could place it to go on the side with the room. And since I was able to see that there was nothing but a crafting table over here, I decided to place the fence right in between me and this room. So I hopped to the fence and hopped to the ledge. And on the ledge, I saw a hopper. And inside the hopper was 3 cobbled deep slate and 1 ender pearl. And then I decided to go into the room, but it was just an empty hallway. But when I looked up, I saw that there was a piston holding up some water. And I was about to use my ender pearl and throw it right in between the piston into the water. But then I realized that I could just break the piston and let the water flow down. And then I swam to the top and I grabbed the redstone torch that powered the piston. And right next to it, I saw a hidden blaze rod. So I picked it up and went to the top of the water. And I found a hopper with a phantom membrane. And just as I was about to leave, I noticed that there was another hopper all the way on top. And inside was blaze powder and an awkward potion. So now I had all of these items, but I had no idea what to use them for. I thought that I had to throw the ender pearl to reach the main room, but at this angle, there was no way that would be possible. So I decided the only thing that I could do was throw the ender pearl to reach that crafting table and maybe craft something with all these new items. So I threw my pearl to the other side of the room, and as I was going to the crafting table, I realized something weird. There was an invisible wall that was between me and the way out. So that means that I couldn't just place blocks and jump into the exit. I had to find another way and go around this giant invisible wall. But all I had were these items and a crafting table. So I decided to open the crafting table and see what I was able to craft. And I saw that I can craft a brewing stand. And then I realized that I had all the materials I needed to make a slow falling potion. So I crafted the brewing stand and I was about to place it down. And then I realized that even if I made the slow falling potion, I still wouldn't be able to get to the exit because of this giant invisible wall. So I had to think of a way to get through this. And then I realized that if I could somehow get back to the original fence post, I could jump and slow fall my way into the exit. So I was trying to think if I should place down my brewing stand or my sticky piston to jump to the fence. But I decided placing down the brewing stand would be smarter because if I use my sticky piston, I could elevate myself 1 block higher with the redstone torch. So I would be able to have a better angle to jump into the exit. So I placed my brewing stand and parkoured on top of it. Then I hopped to the fence and opened up the brewing stand and placed the awkward potion and the blaze powder to charge the brewing stand. Then I put the phantom membrane on the top and then waited for the potion to brew. Then I got a potion of slow falling. And at this angle, there was no way I could reach the exit. I would just fall into the void. So I had to big brain it to get as high as possible. So I placed my redstone torch on top of the fence and then I placed the piston to the side of the torch. And at this angle, I should be able to reach the edge with the slow falling potion. So I drank it and I only had one chance for this to go right. So I sprinted and jumped. Come on. Yes. And finally, I was able to escape the first room. And in this room, I saw water and a sign that pointed upwards. And this must have been the way out of the prison. And inside the room was a chest, a room with the villager, and a room that I couldn't get inside. But it seemed to have a hopper inside it. So I went to the room with the villager and he was trading 1 redstone dust for a piece of TNT. But I had no idea what I needed TNT for. So I decided to go back to the main room with the chest to see what was inside. And inside the chest was 2 sets of iron armor and 10 sticks. But I had no idea why I needed this much armor and sticks. And in the last room, I needed a way to crawl underneath this 1x1 block hole because there was a hopper inside. And that hopper probably had the redstone I needed to get that TNT from the villager. But at this point, I had no idea what I was supposed to do. So I went back to the first room to explore a little bit more. And then I realized what the TNT was used for. I needed TNT so I could place it in the water. And then I needed a way to power the TNT to explode myself to the top of the room and escape. But first, I need to find a way to crawl underneath this hole. So I decided to go exploring around, and then I realized that all the lava in this room seemed kind of random. So I decided to click inside to see if there was anything hidden behind them. And after checking it out, I found that there was a hopper with an oak fence gate. And with this, I could place it above the hole and walk inside and now crawl. But I didn't go all the way inside the room. I just went in enough just so I could reach the redstone, so I wouldn't get stuck in. And then I went to the villager and traded all my redstone dust for 4 pieces of TNT. But now I just needed a way to power the 4 pieces of TNT. But I felt lost because I already checked every room that there was. But then I realized that underneath the chest, there was a block that wasn't bedrock. So I broke the chest and found out that it was a blast furnace. But I had no idea what I needed a blast furnace for. But then I realized I could actually check what I could smelt. And it said that I could smelt iron nuggets with my iron armor. But I had no idea why I would have to smelt my iron armor. Because if I smelted all of them, I would only have 1 piece of iron. And I tried to think what I could do with 1 piece of iron. And then I realized with a piece of iron and a flint, I could activate all the pieces of TNT and it's going to let me escape. But first, I had to find flint. So I went back into the room where we found the redstone and went in F5 mode to see if I was missing anything. But it was just an empty room. Then I went into the first room and tried to see if I missed anything here. But there was no hidden hoppers or chests. And the last room that there was to check was the villager's room. And I went through all of the lava falls again to see if I missed any secret chests. But again, I found nothing and I was beginning to give up hope. So I went to the villager to look for clues. But then I realized that the villager was the answer. He was standing on top of a hopper with a piece of flint inside. So I ran back to the furnace and put in the sticks to start smelting the armor. But the sticks did not seem like it was enough to smelt all of my armor. And I began to get really worried because I ran out of sticks and I still had 3 pieces of armor left. But then I realized that I could use my chest to smelt. But the chest only smelted 1 more piece of armor. So I still needed 2 items to help me smelt my last 2 pieces of armor. So I went back into the main room to see if I could use anything. And then I realized that I could use the signs. So I broke both of the signs and ran back to the furnace. And with both the signs, it was exactly enough for me to smelt the last 2 pieces of armor. And now I had 8 pieces of iron nuggets. But there was one more really big problem. I needed a crafting table to craft my iron nuggets into an iron ingot. But then I remembered where I saw a crafting table. It was the one we saw in the first room we were in. And all I had to do now was somehow find a way to reach that crafting table. And then I realized that in the invisible wall, there was a block missing right underneath. So if I could find a way to get at the right angle, I could open the chest. And all I needed to do that was 1 block. So I went back to the main room and I was about to use one of the pieces of TNT. But I couldn't do that because the block I used would fall into the void. And I didn't want to risk the chance of not being able to reach the top of the room. So I started to look around for another block and then I realized that I could use the fence post. So I took the fence post and placed it at the perfect angle to reach the crafting table. So I jumped and crouched all the way to the edge of the fence post, and with literally only 1 pixel of room, I was able to open it. But then something terrible happened. I realized that you needed 9 iron nuggets to craft a piece of iron, not 8. And I thought that this run was completely over and I lost to Korean. My heart was broken and I completely felt like quitting. So I decided that if I couldn't find the last iron ingot right now, I would just quit. And after 5 minutes of checking around all the rooms, I found absolutely nothing. But then I saw the blast furnace and I decided why not just break it to see if there was anything hidden. And when I did, I found a chest. And inside the chest was the last iron nugget that I needed to escape. So I grabbed it and ran to the crafting table, hopped onto the fence post, and crafted an iron ingot. And then I crafted my flint and iron into a flint and steel, went inside the TNT, and lighted them all up at the same time. And the TNT launched me all the way to the top of the room. And at the top, I saw a set of ladders leading to the exit. And just like that, I escaped Korean's trap, even when he used cheats. But when I made it to the top, Korean actually came and, well, he ended me. But this war between me and Korean isn't over. Me and Korean have been racing to 100,000 subscribers and it's always been super close. But recently, he just had a huge boost in subs and it looks like right now he's gonna hit it before us. But we ourselves got a boost too. So if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe.